I'd like to call the meeting of the Plaquemines Parish Council for June 27, 2024 to order at 2:01 p.m. Machines are open for a roll call. All members are present except for Mr. Kognovich. Next item, please. At this time, we'll stand for the prayer by Councilmember LaFrance, pledged by Mr. Newsom.
Heads bowed. We take this moment to acknowledge Almighty God and thank Him for our bountiful blessing, especially for our parish natural resources. We give thanks to God for our brave and courageous men and women in our military who daily risk their lives to protect our precious freedom, and we pray for our world leaders to know how to obtain world peace. We pray that the government body, comprised of both council and administration, will always serve our parish with honesty, humility, and equality for all. And at this government body gathering here today, we pray for the wisdom to know right from wrong and the courage to do that which is right. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, next item, please.
Item 2, executive session, there is none. Item 3, proclamations, there are none. Item 4, status report by the parish president.
Mr. President.
A few things on my end. About a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, well, 2 weeks ago now, Ms. DeMarco and I had the opportunity to do what you call a fly-in to D.C. That was an afternoon or a whole day. There was about 75 or 80 individuals, some local parish presidents, CPRA, so I guess with some NGOs. So 75 of us, we had 105 meetings that day with congressmen and senators to lobby for the Go Mesa funds that we receive on an annual basis. The coastal parishes receive about 39% of revenues from our oil and gas. The interior states receive 50% of their oil and gas. So what we're doing is we're lobbying for that, as well as we're dealing with shores now. There's not only oil and gas revenues from out in the Gulf and out in the oceans now, but there's wind that's coming up in the near future that we're going to be trying to capture. So out of this 105 meetings, as we got back and had a debrief that evening, this year was even more positive than the last year when we flew in for this. And on that same note, we had the opportunity, we had a delegation, it was the Western Caucus, was here in Plaquemines Parish on Monday. So I had the opportunity to discuss this same issue with those individuals. There were 2 congressmen in the room with us down at Chevron, along with about 40 or 50 other staffers. And as you know, when you go to D.C., staffers are the ones that you talk to. They are making policy for this country. And like I told Kelly and I told Sharon that night, I said, I really don't normally get nervous when I'm talking in front of folks, but here I've got these 2 congressmen sitting right there making hard eye contact with me, and all these staffers, they were engaged with me. And when I would make a statement about, the fact of where we get the 38%, they go, that's right. And we're looking to get 50%. And they're like, the whole room would be nodding their heads. So we are really getting engaged throughout the whole country is for this objective that we're shooting for. It may not happen this year because, this is an election year, but we really feel comfortable come next year that we'll be able to get in some new revenues. And where Plaquemines Parish falls out on Go Mesa funds and the coastal parishes, we get the largest sum of money of all the other parishes in the state. So this will be even more positive for us. We're in the middle of, not in the middle of it, but hurricane season is here upon us. We've got a real good team in our Homeland Security. We're working on that, continue to work on that. So I'm comfortable, but you can never really be too comfortable. Years ago, I kind of got chastised by one of our past presidents when I'm on the radio, and I'm like, are you prepared? Yes, we are, but can you be totally prepared? I mean, you guys have to understand that we have to be very prepared for this and always know that we always may have to improvise and move left or move right to rectify a problem throughout the process there. The audit, from my understanding, has been completed. We'll get a review tomorrow. So that's all I have for the moment there. I think we're going to move to the,
Yeah, we're going to combine President's update and update by charter directors, so.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm going to be sending out the update probably tomorrow morning. I didn't have time to finish it and get it to you guys before the meeting. I passed out paper copies last time, but I'm going to email it. It's a lot of the same. I'll just highlight the updates under the roads. We started doing some extra stuff that wasn't even on the list, some of the smaller potholes around Southern Oaks, even though they're set for a bigger project. It may get pushed back a little longer, so we went and started doing some of the big holes in that area. Highway 11, some of the patches are 100% complete now. I haven't had time to ride it. I just saw a couple pictures. I don't know if you've ridden it, Mitch. Coast Guard Road is 100% finished now. I did ride that one. It is 100 times better than it was. We need to start identifying some stuff on the lower end, District 7 for sure. We know most of the spots on the 8 and 9. We're going to start identifying some of those streets in the Port Sulphur area that have big holes, cracks, buckles, whatever it is, and there's plenty of them. We just don't have a written list of them. We only have a handful. They're going to start working on identifying that, come up with some estimates and some funding ideas, and then see how we can move forward and get a timeline set for those. Down to some of the complaints, a couple of complaints that was here at the last council meeting. They're either have been addressed and taken care of, or they're still in the process. It was only a couple of drainage. I know the Myrtle Grove side, those have been taken care of for sure. We did get with the Corps, and we had some discussion on inside that little Potato Ridge levee was ours, outside the levee was theirs. We called them, they took care of it right away, it wasn't an issue, so that's a good thing. Floodgates is the same, nothing's changed with those. We still have that one that's out of service due to a part. The estimated arrival for that part is before July 15th, so within the next couple of weeks, that part should be installed, and all it is a hydraulic valve. It's not that complicated. The sandbags that we had started placing out strategically across the parish, all of the smaller bags have been set in those locations. They finished that up yesterday. This coming week, we're going to start doing the large bags. So again, if you see them showing up, that's what that's for. They will be out of the way, off the highways, and no safety risk to any traffic or anything like that. And that's all I have.
Good afternoon. I did hand out, I did put in front of you guys my copy of my updates. Mosquito control, the trucks are spraying each targeted area 2 to 3 times a week, weather permitting, of course. The plane will start flying twice a month. We're going to hit some targeted areas based on the results from the traps that they set out weekly. And if y'all get some complaints, just forward it to me or mosquito control, and they're pretty quick on handling those complaints. The LDH public health grant that funds a couple of things, funds the Deputy Director for Homeland Security. It's a broad-ranging grant. There is monies available, and we're going to use some of that to get some additional inspectors, particularly RV inspectors. I'm working with the contractor to get that rolling, to get some more people on the ground to handle some of these non-compliant issues. couple of you guys know that we're having some Entergy power issues in the Port Sulphur area. I'm in constant contact with Entergy, and they are working on the solution. In the last few weeks, it's been on their side. This week, we identified some problems in Port Sulphur Government Building. We're on that. We have some parts being ordered. Hopefully by the weekend or through the weekend, we'll have that issue taken care of. The YMCA pools, Burris is pretty much complete. They did a final leak detection test and identified some leaks around some of the fittings coming from the pump, probably because those pumps haven't been run for a while, but those are being addressed. Port Sulphur pool, they completed chipping the plaster. The coping is ordered. And they'll, once they start on the coping, they'll do the wall repair as well. And that's all I have. If y'all have any issues, don't hesitate to give me a call.
Good afternoon. For my update with Parks and Recreation, we completed the 2024 baseball and softball season on this Monday, June 24th. There was a total of 43 teams that participated this season and a total of 521 youth who participated. All the season, those participants were ages 6 to 14. So I have been keeping track of how many participants we have and how many teams we have, just so that I can have some data as we proceed with making some changes. Also, a letter and a feedback survey will go out on July 1st to all the coaches that participated in the season. Registration for girls volleyball and flag football has closed. The flag football season will begin mid-July. And out of a request from lots of parents and coaches, the volleyball season has been pushed back to begin in September. A lot of the families said they're coming back from the summer and getting ready for school to start, so they would like to have a little bit more time if possible. So we have pushed the season to start in September. We have 2 classes that are new to the parish, a Safe Sitter class, which will take place July 18th and 19th at the Belle Chase Pavilion. The registration will remain open until the class is full. Also, the Safe at Home class is on Saturday, July 20th at the Belle Chase Pavilion, and it will remain open as well until the class is full. The moderator for this class is Dr. Brooke Grant. She's a local pediatrician in the state, and so she moderates this class all across the state. So we're excited, and we've been getting really good feedback from community about this program. Our open pickleball summer season has been extended to the end of July, and residents have been updated of this change. Repairs to the Burris splash pad are underway. We're currently awaiting for a few more parts and supplies to come in, but the technician who's working on this let me know he should be back over there, if not this week, early next week, and we're hoping to have that open soon, and we need to get it cleaned, and we'll have it open for the summer months. So we are making progress at that splash pad. Repairs to Empire splash pad is pending. Once the contractor went over, I stated in my last report that they couldn't get in to access the panel box due to some wasps, but we have sprayed it and it's clear now. So he'll be going back over there to kind of assess that panel and try to get that splash pad back up as well. The last thing I have is Recreation is working with Prom to create a more sustainable and consistent and effective grass cutting schedule. I know with the frequent rain, we've been having a challenge with keeping grass cut all across the parish, especially at our parks. So we're working to come up with a plan, and all of the parks will be included in this plan. So that's my update.
Thank you.
Hey, Chris, one more item. Just this week, the port with Charles has received a little over $7.3 million RISE grant. This is for the Peters Road bypass, the bridge. So this is very good for us here. This is something that will need to be done, before we can have any more development towards the Venture Global area. So what we're doing right now, Charles has initiated this. I asked him, I said, we're going to get together with Jacob, Senator Connick, some of the council members here, Brian as the port chair, and then with our staff to really, and with BKI being the first one. And my ask is this right here. I don't want to stretch this out over a 3-year period. We're going to be hot on their heels. I think we can really expedite this and be able to move forward with this project. We've talked long enough on this project. This project was, I got into office in 2007. And Dr. Gui, you're probably a little bit before that. So, and we've been talking long enough. The EIS and the engineering has been done on a bridge already, which is a 100-foot bridge, I believe it is. And we're doing now, what we're just doing is bringing this down to a 73-foot bridge. So I truly believe a lot of the information is there. It's just, I don't want to say cut and paste, but there's a lot of the work has already been done. So there you go. If y'all have any questions.
All right, thank you. Any comment from the public on President's update or Charter Director updates? State your name and address for the record, please.
Arthur Henry, Belkey. On the Go Mesa funds, that 20% more, had that been a projected amount of money that would accumulate? You said on the Go Mesa funds, the inside is getting 50%, we only getting 30. So the other 20%, if we get to 50, have a projected amount of money been said about how much that would be?
I can get that information for you.
I mean, I'm for it. I mean, hey, we could use it.
And let me just say this, our Go Mesa funds in the state of Louisiana, our funds are for strictly coastal restoration and levee protection. They are mandated by the state, where the interior states, I believe New Mexico got like $1 billion 1 year for the state. They used theirs as a stimulus package. They wrote checks to their residents where they can do what they want with it. But in the state of Louisiana, it's mandated those projects.
Clarence Brock, 156 Edith Cameron Lane, on the pumping station and the floodgates. We don't have floodgates to let the water out, and that's District 1 I'm talking about. And also the pumping station in Pearl and Hash is only 50%, capacity 50%. And just last week on Highway 39, from Hurricane all the way in Mexico, the water came over the road. And the marina, when I lived by the marina, it looked like a river. So the water about to come across the levee at the marina in Prawn Ash area. And we're not doing anything but updating our pumping stations, so better than 50%. And we are boxed in. It's a bowl. Other places in the parish, the levees have been worked on, and they got floodgates to let the water out. And like, say, for instance, Port Sulphur, if the water do come in, we got the levees to protect, but the water gonna go back out. If the water come across the levees in Pearl and Hash or Breakaway got the levee all the way around, got the root loop, it will demise us. We will not be able to come back to our home. There's a lot of sanctions on us that we cannot come back. We gotta elevate, we gotta, if we get 50% of damage to our house, we can't repair our houses on our own and come back. So I'm asking, do something to get the levees, give us some protection. We have no protection from a storm. I thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Good evening. Good evening. Orrin Bentley, 18691 Highway 15, Pearl Ash, Louisiana. I'm here, I'm gonna elaborate on what Pop talking about. I think it's a shame for parish officials to tell us, as rather than on the East Bank of Plaquemine Parish, that your pump is working at 50% capacity. If your pumps is working at 50%, what percentage our home is being taken care of, and I think that should be priority. That we living here without pump. Then they talking about elevate 18 feet up in the air. We're gonna elevate the roads. We're gonna elevate the pumps. And when the water come up in the road, like what Papa was talking about, do y'all realize that's gonna shut down the emergency 911 system right here? That all gets shut down. If water come through here, like Papa said again, we're gonna lose our home. And more importantly, to me, is we have a lot of burial ground here. All that's gonna be sitting underwater for just saying, for 14, 15 days. We don't have no pump to pump it out. So our houses, our burial ground, everything is underwater. It's a lot of problems over here on the east bank of the parish that seem like it's not being tended to. It's like nobody want to do nothing about it. I was on Facebook the other night with a meeting with Councilman Elwood over at the thing, and I was concerned. I said everybody was answering questions except for the parish president. I wanted to know why did the parish president didn't take control of these answers, and why is the parish president not taking full man? We drowning. We in the inside of a bowl, and our parish telling us where we pay taxes that we have no pump. We got no pump. We got one way to get out of here, and it all come back to the ferry. It all come back to the ferry. Whatever going on with the ferry, this is my thinking. All this is a bunch of baloney. What's going on with the ferry? Because in a situation where we in, we're one way out of here, it should be some kind of temporary something until somebody gets something fixed. That way it'll be a way for us to get out of here. Over through the night, if the water come through, over the water. We got the prison, we got the whole prison got to evacuate. We stuck in here with a whole prison. All the residents. Everything. The parish on the East Bank is in chaos. And I'm listening to that. Everybody just talking, but nobody offering to solve the problem. I've been listening to it from Facebook, and I went to a couple of community meetings that we planned on our own. It's like nobody doing nothing about this. What is going on to the East Bank? All right, now when we flooded, just say for instance, we flood out and said, but none of these pump stations working. All our house flooded out. All right, so who paid for our houses? The pump station? The pump station belongs to the parish. So the parish gonna have to be responsible for everything over here. Because the simple thing, y'all supposed to be working for us. And them pumps are part of our community, along with our 911 system. Our 911 system won't be able to get in here or out of here. They won't be able to take nobody to the hospital. Out of here, they won't be able to bring nobody to the jail. And I think it's enough of what's going on down here on the East Bank of the parish. And I would like to get it exploded. Let it come out of here. Because it seems like nothing is being done in here. Everybody looking. But y'all don't live here. I live here. And we also got our churches here. All that's going to be underwater behind something that can be fixed. Behind something that the parish, a Plaquemine parish, can fix instead of ignoring and making all kind of excuses about how y'all going to do this and how y'all going to do this. And we are constantly drowning over here. We're drowning, and y'all know about it. Why nobody is even... My thinking is that should be priority to the whole parish, because this is a whole community here. There's a whole lovely community here. We don't have criminals. We don't have bad kids here. We have all good people here. And we are being neglected, and in my belief, it's going to be stopped. Now, whoever in the way of it, they're going to have to answer on their own. But it's got to be done. We got to have a pump station in a ferry. And on last year, we was having these ferry meetings. These ferry meetings, they told us last year, they working on it. We're going to have it such and such a time. And every time you hear, it's getting backed up. When the port was supposed to take over the ferry, everything was supposed to be all right. The parish so-called couldn't handle it. The port was supposed to take it over, and everything was supposed to be all right. Now the port got it like it's worse than the parish. What the parish doing? Y'all really need to take a good look at the East Bank of the parish. We in desperate need over here. Storm season started June the 1st. What did y'all do as leaders to get us up to hurricane standard on the East Bank? Nothing. because the pump is working at 50%. That's something that shouldn't even been said.
Yes, sir.
It would be embarrassing to say something like that. When we got residents here, people live here. There's elderly people, like I said, elderly people, cemeteries. Then we got everything here, 911 system, our police system. Our police system won't be able to do their job, but behind simple stuff. And this stuff been going on for years. We went through this last year, and here we come another hurricane year, and zero has been done.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
You, okay.
All right, good afternoon. My name is Sage Franz. I'm in 1212 Independence Street in New Orleans, and I'm down here in solidarity with the communities in Plaquemines. I specifically am coming up now to, in sequence of the other speakers who've been talking about evacuation and about being in hurricane season, and I guess I wanted to comment because of the mention of this new bridge. And can you talk about when the bridge is supposed to be finished or when it might be finished?
I think she just needs to make her comment.
Yeah, I mean, it's comment only, Tom,
Oh,
and,
okay.
and that is just for engineering and design, phase 3. So
Got it.
we don't have a timeline.
So my comment is essentially that Highway 23 is really the only road in and out of Plaquemines Parish that goes directly in front of the Venture Global LNG plant. And I really would urge the council, if you haven't done so yet, to make sure that the public has a very clear idea of what Venture Global's plan is if there is an evacuation, if there is a hurricane. If any of that infrastructure that's going across Highway 23 is blown off, we know that that land that plant is being built on was flooded throughout Hurricane Ida, and they built that measly 26-foot wall around it to protect the surrounding communities. I'm very worried about the communities that are very near that plant. If there is a category 3, 4, 5 hurricane that comes through there, how are people getting past that road? We know the traffic's already terrible. If there is a hurricane or an event like that where some of that infrastructure is damaged, is broken, is blocking that road, how are people getting out? I need to know from the parish, and I'd love a follow-up from any council members, what the plan is if that infrastructure fails in that plant that has already had cranes collapsing and is very much under construction right now. So that's what I have for this point. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes, my name is Henry McAnsby. I live at 123 West Shirley Road in Lake Hermitage. I was wondering if we had any arrangements on the wastewater disposal meeting for Venture Global.
I don't think, I think because I know we tried to reach out to the state, that was a state mandated meeting, and LDEQ was responsible. I don't think we got an update. We never did. I mean, we reached out to the state, but that's state that was state ran.
Okay. A month ago, I came to the meeting. They told me that Charlie Birch and Carlton LaFrance was supposed to try to be arranging a meeting.
Yeah, that's what we tried to do with the state, correct? And we never heard back, the state never responded to us.
So he putting Charlie Birch in charge of a meeting that he has zero interest in having. He's public affairs, he's paid by Venture Global. He's 100% against this meeting. He does not want this meeting to exist. Was promised by the parish president we was gonna get this meeting. I don't know how Carlton LaFrance stands on arranging a meeting, but I think it's a very important meeting for our community to have.
Yes, sir.
To discuss this topic.
Yes, sir. We'll try to get a follow-up. Thank you. All right. Any other comments from the public? Ms. McCarty?
Thank you. I have a few questions. First, I know we don't have a Homeland Security person here or,
Speak more into the mic. It's on, but
is it really on?
I should, you're showing lit up. Tap it.
How about this one? I'm going to use this one. I know that we don't have someone to replace John Helmers, and we're working on that today. And we don't have a Homeland Security person here today. But I was hoping that we could talk with someone about getting council members radios in the event of a storm, because some have it and some don't. The second item is, I think it's great that we're going to get 75% of the fees from the LNG or natural gases that come out of that we sell, et cetera. In the past, I've mentioned something about a community insurance program, and I'm wondering if we can set aside something for that, and that way the community insurance program would pay for the deductible. People would still have to buy insurance, but we would pay their deductible so that they could go build back right away and hopefully build stronger than before, just to start looking at that. And Ms. Morrison, as you know, on July 5th, we're having a 4th of July celebration at the Medal of Honor Park. Can you give a report of whether or not the park is going to be ready for that? And secondly, we had talked about you doing something for the children. Is that still possible to entertain the children at the event? Thank you all.
I'll get with you on the radios, Ms. Patty, and yes, the park will be ready. Now, Ashley will have to answer you about the kids.
So, yeah, and I also have been working on trying to set up a table. So we will be at the event. I just don't know what activities I'll have planned, but I'm working on planning some activities for the kids at the tent. So I can get with your office and give you some ideas that we have written down, and just trying to collect what we can, but we will be present.
Do your thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Sounds
thank
good.
you.
You're welcome. And I have sent out an email to Reese, so I'll just wait for him.
Mr. Jurisich.
Yes. Mr. DeMarco, those issues down the road, Port Sulphur, Empire, Buras and all, is the power surges. Supposedly, everybody's complaining about power surges, but you are talking with Energy to try to come up and find out what's causing those surges.
Yeah, and they give me the same old answer, that the problem is like finding a needle in a haystack, but that's not good enough. I've talked to them every day this week, just to kind of kick them in the behind to find the issue, because it's been an issue for months, years, however long.
Well, it's the last couple of weeks.
Exactly.
Like it's really gotten, worse. So, but anyway, I'm glad you're working on. I just wanted to make that comment.
I'm gonna stay on them.
That
I'm gonna
they,
stay on them.
we are getting those complaints. And Mr. Witchers, Billy, the grass on Highway 11 right now is really high. And I know y'all doing the best you can, but I just wanted to bring that up because I got several phone calls between Home Place and Empire. And I know it's further down too. By John Raleigh Road yesterday afternoon when I came to get on Highway 11, because checking the progress of the road work, when you turn to the north, it is almost completely blocked right there with weeds and I know it's only energy. This is the thing, is energy power poles right there. So I know we don't really cut the energy right away, but for some reason those poles are right on the highway.
Yeah,
So
we cut to the poles, not past the poles, but.
But
I
we're gonna
think
have to do
they-
something in
They're
that-
just north of the fort, so they're headed north up that Riverside. And as they do Riverside, they do Highway 11 as well.
yes, sir. All right, thank you. That's all I have.
Mr. Champagne.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, while we're talking grass cutters, I'll tell you, I want to commend the grass cutters. I met two of them today at the PMC from the East Bank. One of them got tore up by bees bad. I'd never seen some more whelps on a guy. All he was concerned about was getting treated so he can come back to work and cut grass. So kudos to that gentleman. He's very dedicated. We talked about Walker Road, Peters Road bypass. I want to commend you, Mr. President, working with Port Director Tillotson to make this thing finally happen. And I think it's because of the cooperative effort between you and the Port Director, along with our other regional partners, Jefferson Parish and Gretna, that this is happening. This is really moving forward for the first time in really 40 years. And in speaking to some of our colleagues, we can't let this traffic nightmare reoccur again as we move forward with potentially the Venture Global Delta project and Gulfstream, et cetera. We need to make sure we fix that. And I would hope that you all sit down and plant a stake in the ground and give us something to say, hey, this is the day we're shooting for, and by God, we're going to make this happen. So I challenge you to do that, Mr. President. And I just want to also commend you. I met with you guys this morning. You guys had answers on a lot of the projects we had on table. Number one, the traffic circle. That's a big issue with traffic in Woodland Highway. And you said it looks like January 1st of 2025, they're going to start moving forward with that. The bridge will be done, so outstanding, much needed. And you mentioned, Billy, you mentioned repairs on Southern Oaks. I appreciate that. The people have been desperate for some repairs. I thank you for going in and filling those holes. I know we're up in the queue after Bergeron Drive. I know you guys done a good job prioritizing our efforts, and I'm glad that we're finally going to get to Southern Oaks. And lastly, we talked about some of the concrete repairs in the Belchase area, particularly, District 2, District 3, District 5. If you guys could brief on the progress of that, not necessarily now if you don't have the information, but something our constituents have been asking about because the curbing is breaking away and causing some issues in our neighborhoods. Again, thank you, and I yield.
Mr. LaFrance.
Yes, at the last council meeting, I requested a date to give us a meeting so we can go back to Lake Hermitage and give those residents an update how we planning on moving forward with that Suzie Bayou project. I know I know you can't probably discuss about, but I mean, we need to know how we're gonna move forward. I think we're gonna go into litigation with it or whatever, but they need to get us an update.
Yeah, we put the
Yeah.
bonding company on notice. We're expecting the bonding company to perform. And so we expect the project to be built as it was originally designed and intended. So Mr. Tuesday's handling that. If you want more specifics on it, please call him because he's going to have more details than I will. Obviously, some of it can be disclosed, but some of it is in litigation, so we want to be careful about what we say. But the legal department is pursuing the claim and with the surety, and we intend to get what we bargained for.
Okay, well, if you can give it to me in a statement, and I'll go back there and I'll pass it out to the residents.
Okay.
All right? Thank you.
Thank you. Next item, please.
5, bids and advertisements, there are none. 6, beer and liquor licenses. 6A is withdrawn. 6B, 5th on the 5th Independence Day Celebration Medal of Honor Complex on July 5th, 2024, beginning at 6 until 9 or 10 p.m. C, the Rosé Experience fundraiser located at 333 F. Edward Hebert Boulevard in Belchase, Louisiana on July 27th, 2024, starting at 6 p.m. and ending at 11 p.m.
Somebody want to offer? Offer by Mr. Jursich. Second by Mr. Champagne. Any comments from the audience? Administration? Table? Machines are open. Passes 8-0. Next item, please.
7, building permits.
We'll take 1 through 6 in Globo.
Construction permits. 1, CHS application number 2024-339, application date
Yes.
4/10/24. This
Take
has
number
been.
one by itself.
Okay, we'll take number 1 by itself then, and for now.
CHS application number 2024-339, application date 4/10/24. The proposed project is to provide soybean oil tanks and pumps. 434 East Ravenna Road, Belchase, and this is Councilmember LaFrance.
Okay. This application is just for the soybean oil tanks and for the pumps, not for the building. The building, that's gonna be a permit by itself. So it's just for the tanks and the pumps. And I so offer.
Offered by Mr. LaFrance, second by Mr. Jursich. Any comments from the audience? Administration? Table? Machines are open. Passes 8-0. We'll take 2 through 6 now in Globo.
McMoran Oil and Gas LLC, application number 2024-546, application date 5/13/24, proposed P&A of VU1 SL 1456-1, number 1, well and removal of structure and removal of the 4-inch pipeline from the Magellan structure to the BS 34 production facility 293109. 01891343 Block 35. McMoran Oil and Gas LLC, application number 2024-541, application date 5/13/24. Proposed P&A SL 14217, number 3, well and removal of structure, the tripod. Remove 4.5-inch flow line 2931 10-3 8915 59-6 Brenton Sound Block. McMoran Oil and Gas LLC, application number 2024-543, application date 5/13/24. Proposed P&A SL 14561, number 1, well and removal of the 2 4-inch pipelines from Uriga structure to the production facility, 2930-53 6689 1411 06 Brenton Sound Block 35. McMoran Oil and Gas LLC, application number 2024-545, application date 5/13/24. Proposed P&A SL 14216, number 2, well and removal of structure. Proposed removal of 3 6-inch pipelines from Alpha structure to the BS 34 production facility, 2931 1 1989 1640 21 Brenton Sound Block 34. Moam Pipeline LLC, application number 2024-654, application date 6/4/24, requesting emergency use authorization to armor 56 feet of exposed 14-inch diameter pipeline, 292747, 8789 3450.6 Augusta Bay.
Clarence Brock, 156 Enos Camelland, from 2 to 6. All these permits is in District 1. And that mean economic development. They're going to better our community by putting all these rigs and tapping into all these airlines and it coming to our area. And I already know, I was told at a couple of meetings already that we can't stop them. They got all the right stuff and right things to do. They did everything they're supposed to do to get these permits, and we got to give it to them. But will that affect us in the long run for our community? We're a small area, and all these pipelines are constantly coming in. And before you know it, they're gonna be tapping into the ships and all that. Gonna be tapping into these lines from shore right in front of our houses, or just pipelines way out in the Gulf that ain't gonna affect us. And the money that the parish gonna get money from this.
Bless you.
Yeah, bless you. The parents will get money for this, but any of this money gonna come into our community to help us with floodgates, pumping stations, trying to get rid of these sanctions that we have on our homes and our area, our way of life. Can y'all see us being here, the residents of Pearl Heights, David, and Phoenix being here with all these permits being given to all these companies?
Mr. Brock, me, Billy,
But yeah,
all of these are being removed. This is things, they're inactive things now. They're removing the structure so they're not a hazard out in the marsh.
they're not gonna add any more?
No, this is just a removal.
But that's a good thing. Y'all, you forget everything I said.
Yes, sir.
No, we're not gonna forget you, Mr. Brock.
Any other comments from the audience?
Councilman Brock,
Man, you replace yourself.
Mr. Brock, and I think I've told you this before, is that these stuff it say Brenton Sound and it fall away, and this is stuff that's not just District 1. There's other thing came in last week for District 7 and District 8, and they're so far out the way that it is unbelievable. I can assure you as your councilman that I am for economic development. If this stuff was really hazardous, I think most of the folks on here understand that, when they come down the East Bank of the river, I'm the first one to act how harmful this are to you. I will show you that if all these things on here were harmful, you wouldn't have to come up and talk about it. They could tell you I'd have been storming the office and screaming and how it is Brenton Sound. It is way out there. And again,
is to make things better by removing existing stuff. There's some things that are going to be happening in the future in the Gulf of Mexico, even as related to the port, that some of this stuff has to be removed and all that. And if you read it, say remove a structure. Each one of these things say remove a structure. I would suggest that you can get together with Ms. Kim, put your name on the agenda, and she will send you agenda ahead of time, and you can take the time and really read. But if you were carefully read all these things, all of them say removal, not add. All of them say removal.
All right. Any other comments from the audience? Administration? Table, machines open. Passes 8-0. We'll take B, C, or does anybody know if Mr. Cognovich wants to move? Okay, we'll take B, C, and D in global.
AMW 77 LLC Maurice Weskovich, permanent RV and trailer park renewal, Riverside Lane, Boothville, Louisiana. Emmett's Trailer Park, Dennis Adolph Jr., permanent trailer park renewal, Yvonne Lane, Boothville, Louisiana. Deep Delta Distributors Incorporated, Chris Leopold, temporary RV park, final approval, 13 additional spaces, 26847 Highway 23, Port Sulphur, Louisiana.
Offered by Mr. LaFrance, second by Mr. Jurisich. Any comments from the audience?
Hi, David Clark, 108 Avenue A in Bell Chase. Again, I don't have an issue with any of these permits being approved. I think individual deserves the right to use this property for whatever use, as long as it doesn't impact their neighbors. Again, I just ask this council to revisit where that line is drawn, where temporary parks can be placed in this parish and where it can't. There's some great locations out there that we're unable to develop because of this so-called imaginary line that stops us from doing so. So I hope you guys revisit that soon and give us the opportunity to do so. Thanks.
Mr. Clark, hold on, I got a question for you. What exactly are you asking for? Because we voted, we upheld the zoning board's decision to deny the permit, which now we have to wait, 2 years before you can redo it? And then the temporary we cannot do. Have you personally talked to, I'm going to say Mr. LaFrance, but it was but his district will be most directly impacted. Have you personally talked to him?
I have.
And then my next question is, one of the times before, I think last meeting, you said that we pick and choose who we want to give permits to, but if we do this and change the rules, wouldn't that be the same thing, allowing you we're changing the rules just for you?
No, it's not just for me. It's for others that are requesting the same thing.
Who? Well, I haven't got another request from anybody.
Did it on food trucks. We did it, I mean, we do it for individuals. That's what we do. We look at it and we see what makes sense, what doesn't. I'm not asking for any special privileges. I'm saying there's property out there that can be used for this. Was it a fair process? I don't think it was a fair process when I came before the council with it. Maybe Mr. Brian Champagne was right. Maybe I didn't approach it the correct way. But I'm asking that we are issuing temporary permits. It's allowed. We're voting on it today.
Correct, but we're following the rules in place currently, and I haven't got a request to change the line besides you. And that's what I'm saying. To me, it goes back to right now, that's the only request, and Mr. LaFrance's district is the one most directly going to be impacted by that if we do. So I'm not going to tell Mr. LaFrance how to run his district. So I'll let Mr. LaFrance, you want to respond?
One thing I will say is, his property is not in my district.
Correct. That's it. So like I said, I just want to say, I mean, my view is that yours is the only request for changing the line, and that would kind of go back to what you said. Then we'll be picking and choosing what rules to change for certain people. So that's all. That's the only questions I had.
I'd like to answer the question that you brought forth. I mean, I'm not, it's starts from somewhere, right? It starts from one person. Does it take 10 people? How many people does it take to address an issue? They're asking for levee protection. I hear it every council meeting. I mean, it starts from somebody. We don't have to have a full house to say, hey, we all want to do this. I'm asking for you guys to take a look at it. I'm not asking for anything special. They're around me already. These parks are there. There's mobile homes all over the place around me. They're coming up daily. I see that as I drive back and forth. So we're giving temporary permits. We're doing that.
Yeah, I get it.
So I'm asking for this council to address that. I've been asking it, and I'll continue to ask it as long as you guys approve it.
All right.
I am in Councilman Juras's district, and he and I right now aren't on speaking terms, but I'd like to meet with him one day and maybe discuss that. But I appreciate Mr. LaFrancis. He's absolutely right. We talked. I'm in somebody else's district, but I think he's open to discussion.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Jurasich?
One thing, when you read the ordinance, there was something that was left out the ordinance that's been added, and it's regarding oak trees and bald cypress tree removal. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that, but y'all may have received the packet. It's $1,000 a tree over 10 inches to remove these trees. And that was passed with the previous administration, but it was something that hasn't been enforced. So that's new, something I just found out about. And you can have 2. So why don't you just start with 2?
All right.
There's no restrictions against 2.
Thank you. All right. Any other comments from the audience? Yes, ma'am.
Sage Fans, 1212 Independence Street. I've been to a few parish meetings now where this RV issue has come up again and again, and I just want to remind the parish that and the council that this is not a sustainable solution to house all of these workers for this plant. And talking about another plant coming in, Delta, just up the road with another 3,000 to 5,000 workers in the next, 5 to 10 years, there's got to be another answer for housing all of these people. And this is just one part of the infrastructure stretch that this parish has felt because of this plant. So just putting it on y'all's radar, I'm sure y'all know, thinking about another plant coming in and that many more workers coming in, the RV situation is already a mess, and it will just be completely exacerbated. That's
Yes,
all.
ma'am. Thank you. Any other comments from the audience? Administration? Machines are open. Passes 7 with 1 no vote from Mr. Edwards. Passes 7-1.
8, introduction of ordinances and resolutions.
The following 3 are for Councilmember Schultz. An ordinance authorizing the acceptance of a donation for the ambulance department and to amend the 2024 Public Health Fund operating revenue and expenditure budgets, ambulances, general department, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. A resolution approving the submittal of the Louisiana Development Ready Communities Program, a strategic effort of the Louisiana Economic Development to assist all of Louisiana's communities to become more competitive in today's global economy. LDRC program is a community assessment, strategic planning, leadership development, and marketing planning process tool for Plaquemines Parish and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. A resolution ordering and calling a special election to be held in the parish of Plaquemines, state of Louisiana, to authorize the continuation, levy, and collection of a special tax therein, making application to the State Bond Commission, and providing for other matters in connection herewith. This one is for Councilmember LaFrance, an ordinance to amend the 5-year capital improvements plan, repairs, Diamond Park project, and otherwise provide with respect thereto. This one is for Councilmember Jurasich, an ordinance to amend Chapter 15, Section 15-4, speed limits to include provisions to change the speed limit on East Bayou Road from the pumping station through the residential area to 20 miles per hour, to install the appropriate speed limit signs and to establish a penalty for violation thereof, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. The final one is for Councilmember Konovich, an ordinance to amend the 5-year capital improvement plan, repairs, Health and Memorial Park project, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto, and that is it.
All right, thank you. All right, at this time, we'll go through the deferrals and withdrawals. We will defer 9-4, or 9A4, sorry. Not 9A4 will defer. 9B, as in boy, will defer. 9F, we will withdraw. 9N, we will defer. Any other ones that anybody has?
I'm sorry, what's the last one you said?
9N, as in November. Any other ones? All right, one more time. 9A4 will be be deferred. 9B will be deferred. 9F will be withdrawn. 9N will be deferred. Everybody good? All right. Next item, please.
9, ordinances and resolutions on second reading and final passage. 9A, ordinances and public hearings pursuant to Article 6, Section 601E of the Plaquemines Parish Charter. 1, an ordinance to amend and as amended, Section 3, definitions of ordinance number 142, the comprehensive zoning ordinance of Plaquemines Parish as follows, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Newsom.
I so offer an excellent second.
Offered by Mr. Newsom, second by Mr. Jursich. Any comments from the audience?
Arthur Henry, Bell Keys. Ronnie, could you explain to the people why this needs to be added in the comprehensive ordinance 142?
Yes, sir, Mr. Henry. This is the first item here that we're discussing right now, is to put the definition of a personal storage shed into our zoning book. We never had that before, so this went through the zoning board, through Ms. Amitra Rose, and Avery Riley worked on this with conjunction with myself and the zoning board, and went to the zoning board and passed through there. So we're adding definition to the book. And the next item we'll talk about, if you could, or is what, probably the question you really want to ask on the next item. Thank you.
Hi, David Clark, 108 Avenue E in Bell Chase. I was at the zoning board meeting with you there, Mr. Newsom, and understand one of the neighbors was driving this process, right? That made you address this to limit the size of storage sheds and things like that?
It limited per the zoning board limit, I shouldn't say zoning board, the permit office, zoning office actually put the size limitation on it.
Okay.
And that all went through the zoning board and it got passed.
Right.
Size. But this item we're talking about is strictly the definition of what a personal storage shed is to be put in the book, which it was not there.
Yeah, and you know, the question I got about personal storage sheds, we've got tons of commercial fishermen here in the parish. They store their commercial gear inside of this personal storage sheds. That was my concern at the zoning board. I'm no longer a fisherman, but I know I kept my nets in my shed. The definition, if we can read that now, I'll definitely address it when we talk about the second item. But think about everybody that grass cutters and landscapers and people that keep their equipment in their storage sheds. My understanding at the zoning board meeting that we should be permitted to keep our shrimp nets in our sheds, my understanding. I just want to make sure we get it clear on this definition, what we're saying, what we can and can't do with our sheds. So hopefully, Mitch, I know you got tons of fishermen in your area, so hopefully we look at that.
All right, thank you. Any other comments from the audience? Administration? Table? Machines are open? Oh, wait. You chimed in right at the last second. Hold on. I need to give you the mic. All right, go ahead.
You can help me, because one of the concerns I had about this, why the need for this shed, because I know in our community, a lot of people use the shed for a number of reasons, and all of a sudden, we need to have a definition for shed, and how would this affect, you know, I can only speak for people in East Bay can use the shed for all kind of stuff, you know, all kind of stuff. And how would this affect fishermen who want to use the shed like they always use it to store their seafood or use it for just people coming and get seafood and those kind of things. I mean, I know that's a way of life for people, so I wonder how that's going to impact.
So I'll respond. If I remember correctly on this, this person wanted to eventually build a house on his lot and wanted to put a storage shed there where when he starts cutting the grass and stuff like that. But the way our zoning book had it was he can't just put a shed there without the house. Like, it didn't make sense. And that's why we went through this whole process, because I was in Mr. Newsom's office talking about it. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. So basically what this does is this is putting this definition of a personal storage shed where they can actually put it there in an A2. That's what it was, in an A2 zoning, where even though there's nothing else on the land, it will allow them to put a personal storage shed. The current ordinance or zoning would not allow that without anything on the land.
Okay, so
and it was just a clerical cleanup.
So you're saying that they don't have to have it attached to the house?
Correct.
They can put, okay then, okay.
Correct.
That makes sense.
You good?
So it doesn't prevent people from using the shed at all, okay.
Well, it does. It says for the storage of personal items not to be used for commercial purposes. So they can't basically run a business off from A2 using this shed, if that makes sense. They can't build a shed and run a business out of there. But it was more, the purpose behind it was to allow the clerical cleanup of what a definition of a storage shed in an A2 without a house on it. Correct?
Yes.
Is this retroactive?
No, because nobody could do it. So they never had a permit to do it. So there's nothing retroactive about it. The next item is the person that was trying to get it, and we're going to vote on that permit in second.
What about somebody who runs a business out of a shed at a house? That's why I was.
Well, that's probably a legal question and permit question, because that's probably not allowed, but we'll look into, that's not on this ordinance, so we'll talk about it offline. You good, Reverend Edwards?
Yeah, put on.
All right, machines are open. Passes 7 yeas, 1 no vote by Mr. Edwards. Next item, please.
2, an ordinance to amend and as amended Section 6B, the regulation in the A2 Rural or Agricultural District 1 of Ordinance Number 142, the Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance of Plaquemines Parish as follows, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Newsom.
Again, I offer and ask for a second.
Offered by Mr. Newsom, second by Mr. Jurisic. Any comments from the audience? Yeah. Yes, sir.
Arthur Henry, Belchase. Like Mr. Clark said earlier, I don't agree with this to have an ordinance, because we got a lot of fishermen here, you know. Belchase, maybe not, but down the road and over here, a lot of people make their living off of fishing, you know, and you should be able to do some commercial stuff in your shed, you know. It's a shed. I think it'd be a travesty not to have you to do all that work and have nowhere to store it.
Mr. Henry, there is a process that goes through if somebody wanted to have a commercial business. This is strictly in the A2 area for not any commercial. So if you want to run a commercial business, you got to be zoned in that proper area. This is, again, for A2 and not for commercial. So you can't run a commercial business in an A2 zoning.
What's the definition of a commercial business? If I go out there and fish for a living, and I'm swimming, and I catch 5 and 10, 30, 100 pounds of shrimp, bring it to my shed, and some people want to come and buy it.
You can't have a commercial.
Is that commercial? Is that a commercial deal or not?
You can have commercial businesses in an A2. This doesn't address that. So if you have a commercial business and you want to put it in A2, it has to meet the standards of an A2. This is to allow sheds for private use, for private individuals who own property down in the parish, who may hunt, who may fish, who may need a place to put some of their equipment stuff. This is only to benefit non-commercial businesses. Commercial businesses can still go in A2s pursuant to the law, and they can build whatever structures are allowed based on the size of the lot.
I think it's a bad idea for the people.
It's helping people.
Good evening again, Orrin Bentley. I have a question for Councilman Edward. Councilman Edward, how close or how far we away from getting these pump stations at 100% capacity of the herd?
We can't talk about, we're on a permit right now, and we can't talk about that.
But give me a chance to get back to it, because I didn't hear no response from nobody.
Oh.
I'm still concerned about the pump station.
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
Hi, David Clark, 108 Avenue A in Bell Chase. I was at the zoning board meeting, like I said, and I talked after the fact. And my main concern were fishermen. I used to be one, so I have a lot of friends that are fishermen. And I asked about the shrimp nets. We're having, personal storage sheds. And I asked that question, okay, what about our shrimpers that have their shrimp nets in their sheds? They should have a permit for that. That's what was told to me. Unless I misunderstood, which I'm pretty sure I didn't, because that's why it's concerning to me that we would do that.
Trapping and fishing are one of the permitted uses in an A2. So if someone's engaged in the fishing industry, they can have a business in an A2 and put whatever structure they want as long as it meets the lot size requirements.
Okay, so it's not going to affect anybody putting their commercial gear inside this?
No, I mean, there are multiple businesses allowed in A2. Farming, animal raising, trapping and fishing. You could put a single-family dwelling. You could put a home occupation, mineral extractions, public-private forests, agricultural nurseries, private stables, mini farms. There are tons of things that can go in an A2. This is solely for non-commercial individuals who live in an A2 who want to put a personal shed. Because if they're not building a house, they can't put a shed under current law because it's basically an accessory building, and we'll only allow you to put an accessory building when you have a home because we know you're going to be living there. And so this allows people who aren't going to put a home to put a personal shed.
Okay.
So this,
This does not impact I think your main concern.
Well, and clarification, that was a good way of putting it.
Correct. Thank you, Rennie.
legal.
All right, any other comments from the audience? Ms. McCarty?
I just want.
We did that on purpose.
Okay, hold on. All right, you're on here.
Can you hear me on this one? Okay. I just wanted to comment for the people who have questions. In my district, citizens ask me all the time about people who have sheds big enough to put land moving equipment in it and run it out of their house, their business out of their house, or repair cars at all hours of the day and night in front of the house, and they have a shed for doing that. I don't think that's part of what is allowed, so.
Well, I'm just going to clear this up.
I don't
and
think
we'll
your
move on.
district's in A2.
Yeah, I was about to say, your district's
Yeah.
not even A2, so that doesn't even.
Well, I just wanted to give them an example
Okay,
of what
yeah.
could happen.
All right, machines are open. Passes 7-1 with one no vote from Mr. Edwards. Next item, please.
3, an ordinance to adopt an additional ad valorem tax exemption for property receiving the homestead exemption that is owned and occupied by a qualified first responder in accordance with Article 7, Section 21-0 of the Constitution of Louisiana and otherwise provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Newsom.
One moment, please. I'll often ask for a unanimous second without there's no objection.
Any objection? Seeing none, unanimous second. Any comments from the audience? Table? Mr. Newsom?
Yes, this was brought to my attention. This was done through the state legislature back in 2023 at the end of the session. So part of part of this for our first responders to get this exemption is this body here has to pass this ordinance. So that's what this is. And I've spoke with the assessor and she's getting some stuff together to go who qualifies for this and all that. She's in contact with the fire department, with the sheriff department, and all the agencies that would come under this deal. So this is just the next step in the thing to get it done, so these folks can get a $2,500 tax exemption for their taxes in 2024.
Yes, Mr. Newsom, maybe you can answer. I'm for this. I just want to make sure we're good to go. And you said you're going to get some more information on it, because I know it was kind of vague out there, whether or not it applies to part-time employees, full-time, who gets what. I really couldn't find any information on that. Believe me, I want them to get it. I just want to make sure that we have our process in order.
So there's, in here somewhere, it says qualified first responder, and in that section, it does spell out, like, but I had it verified with Mr. Garrett, that's why we paused. I could vote.
in the Constitution.
Correct, it's in the Constitution.
Constitution.
It covers police, fire, including volunteer firefighters and all that. I had verified with Ms. Garrett that I could vote on it since I am a volunteer firefighter, but he said I can't because it's covering a whole class. It doesn't, it's not only for me or anything like that. So, yeah. So, with that, does that answer your question, Mr. Champagne? All right, machines are open. Should I abstain or not? Passes 8-0.
Make sure it covers.
Yeah.
Police.
All right, next item, please.
5, an ordinance approving a plan of re-subdivision of the property of Hero Lands.
Deferred.
Oh, yeah. No, 5's not deferred. 4.
Hero Lands Company, a portion of plots 2 and 3 of the Intracoastal Canal Subdivision, Section 95, T14S, R24E, Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, into lots 2A, 2B, 2C, 2D, Section 95, T14S, R24E, Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, as shown on the plan and plat of survey by Bryant Hammond and Associates, certified by U. McCurdy III, PLS, dated March 2024, the owner having fulfilled all the requirements of the subdivision and re-subdivision ordinance of the parish of Plaquemines without cost to the Plaquemines Parish government or the parish of Plaquemines, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto, and this is for Councilmember Jurisic.
Can we put 9A5 on the screen? Offered by Mr. Jurisic.
Second.
Second by Mr. Newsom. We are voting on 9A5, just to be clear for everybody. Any comments from the audience? Yes, sir.
Arthur Henry, Bell Shake. Hey, this the all Hero Golf Course?
No, sir.
Let's buy you rule.
Any other comments from the audience? Administration? Table? Machines are open. Passes 8-0. Next item, please.
6, an ordinance to amend and as amended to readopt Section 4 of the ordinance number 142, the comprehensive zoning ordinance of Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, as amended, and the comprehensive zoning district map therein adopted by reference, which is paragraph thereto with reference to application number 2024-557 dated April 25th, 2024, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Kodnovich.
Councilmember Konovich asked me to offer for him.
Offered by Mr. Jurisic on behalf of Mr. Koknovich.
Second.
Second by Ms. McCarty. Any comments from the audience? Administration? Table? Machines are open. Passes 7-1 with one no vote from Mr. Edwards. Next item, please.
D, a resolution urging the parish president, W. Keith Hinckley, to take immediate action to hire a director of the Coastal Resource and Protection Department and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Jurisic.
Yeah, I'm gonna offer because I think it's a good time to do so.
Second.
Offered by Mr. Jurisic, second by Ms. McCarty. Can we put nine?
Really?
Thank you. Any comments from the audience?
Hi, David Clark, 108 Avenue in Bell Chase. What, just addressing President Hinckley, what are we missing right now in the coastal department?
Comment.
A comment? Okay. Well, just asking what are we missing right now in the coastal department?
The director.
We
Director,
we have a position for a director and it's open right now,
Okay.
so.
I didn't know if there was a push as to, or urge is a pretty strong word, so I was just curious if we were,
We're just telling them to do so.
yeah, gotcha.
All right. Mr. Juristich,
No.
all right. Any other comments from the audience? Administration, table, machines are open. Oh, Mr. Edwards. Hold on, give me a second. Go ahead.
I think this is very needed, and I am so glad that we're moving toward that position because it's been empty for a long time.
All right. Any other comments? Machines are open.
No.
You're killing me.
All right, Ms. McCoy.
Passes 8-0. Next item, please.
D, an ordinance to amend the 2024 general fund operating expenditure budget, economic development, tourism department, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Schultz.
I'll offer, ask for a second. Second by Reverend Edwards. Any comments from the audience? Administration? Table? Machines are open. Passes 8-0. Next item, please.
E, an ordinance authorizing the execution of extension to the lease of Lot C, Port Eads, for a period of 20 years pursuant to the provisions of LARS 41-1217, the leasing having met the requirements of law and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Edwards.
Offered by Reverend Edwards, second by Mr. Jurisic. Any comments from the audience?
Arthur Henry, Bell Shades. Could you tell us some of the terms of this lease?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and give you an overview. 20-year additional lease, same tenant, as long as they made or contracted for an amount exceeding $20,000 and that pursuant to law. And then it's annual payments of $384 going retroactive from August 31st, 2022.
$384?
Yeah, and what happened is, I had a lot of discussion about this, not only early email today. They did over 200 and something $1,000 improvement, on the property. And it wasn't serving any purpose to the parish government. I mean, it's a sweetheart deal for these people, there's no question about that. But they invested $200-something, and with the $384 they're paying us, it's really, to me, it's a no-brainer.
This is one of the prime examples where disasters happen, people go crazy. We spent $13 million on this property, where people after Katrina couldn't find nowhere to live, couldn't even buy a house. But here, we did police, and now.
Yeah, hold on. Mr. Henry.
$300 and something.
Mr. Henry, this is not the same Port Eads property that was.
But it's not.
It's not the.
Mr. Andrew, I thought it was the same one. It's not the same one where we created the nonprofit corporation. I was of the same mindset that you were on it, because matter of fact, I had this thing deferred because of the very reason that you said. And regardless, because all the time when we look at who we giving something to, it's San Antenna's all because the name that's on it. But I looked into this thoroughly, and it's, to me, whether if you invested $200 and something thousand into developing of something that full building is out there in the middle of nowhere and developing it wasn't serving any purpose to us. And it's a place where you and I would never be able to go to. As only a few people can get out there. And so to me, I don't see the correlation between Hurricane Katrina in it, because if it was some correlation between Hurricane Katrina and housing, I would definitely not be proposing this.
And I understand your point of view, but if you in the audience or you somebody reading this have been familiar,
exactly.
It says Port East. Doesn't say in the particular area where I know the state, parish, federal government developed Port East. Now that's what it says, yeah, Port East. Now y'all got a whole different take on it.
Right, and
again, out here, I know the cause we pay Port East.
Yeah, and Mr. Andrew, when I read it, my mind went straight to there. Matter of fact, the folks here can tell you, I remember this made the Washington Post when it first happened. So I'm just telling you, all the things you said, I was 100% totally where you at, and I'm telling you, so I'm giving you the other side of it. It is not the same thing. I promise you, it's not the same thing.
And I can live with that, but that's what I need.
Oh, no, I understand you.
I need clarity.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Henry, Mr. Henry, look, one thing, it does say Lot C, which is just a section. It's not the Port East facility that you're thinking of.
Correct.
It's just a Lot C of that big area of land that's out there. It says that on there.
When you read it says Port East. Does it say facility?
It says Lot C.
Lot C. Yeah. But Lot C is part of the whole.
Correct.
That's why we're, correct. All right. Any other comments from the audience? Ms. Administration? Mr. Jurisic?
Yes, it is named, that whole area is named Port Eads, but you're referencing the marina and the facility that was built. This is totally separate. That's all I wanted to explain that to you. But it is Port Eads. That's why it's called Port Eads, because that whole area is Port Eads. Thank you.
Ms. McCarty?
And by the way. Okay, microphone, okay. And by the way, if it is a $200,000 investment, and we take $384 times 20 years and add that to $200,000 and then divide by the 20 years that it's going to be, that equals out to be $17,680 per year if the $200,000 investment is true.
All right. Yes, sir. Where everybody's good. Machines are open. Passes 8-0. Next item, please.
An ordinance to amend the general fund 2024 operating revenue and expenditure budgets, Homeland Security Emergency Preparedness Grant Department, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Schultz.
I offer ask for a second.
This is not
Second by Ms. McCarty. Yes, we're on 9G.
G, okay.
And just to give, this is, we were awarded a grant that goes towards Homeland Security stuff. Mr. Harvey says this pays for some of his salary, equipment, all that stuff. So this is just for the grant budget purposes. Any comments from the audience? Administration? Table? Machines are open. Passes 8-0. Next item, please.
H, an ordinance to amend the 5-year capital improvements plan, Restore Act Bayou Honor project, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Schultz, and this has changes.
Go ahead.
Okay, in the digest, after the sum of money of $340,218.08, the language "to correct a clerical error regarding funds already awarded from the U.S. Department of Treasury by," and the word "remove," the word "to" has been removed. On line 9, the ordinance number 18-39 and the word "and" has been removed. And instead, ordinance number 1848, 2157, and 2432 were added. Amount of the funds on line 13 has been changed to $3,949,896.63. And on line 16, after the sum amount of $340,218.08, we are adding already awarded is necessary to correct clerical error. And then also on line 21 and 22, after the sum amount of $340,000 already awarded has been added.
I'll offer with the changes. Second by Mr. Jurisic. Any comments from the audience? Administration, table, machines are open. Passes 8-0. Next item, please.
An ordinance to amend the five-year capital improvements plan, Plaquemines Parish Comprehensive Safety Action Plan Project, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Schultz.
I offer, ask for a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Edwards. Just a little background on this. What this is a grant of $500,000. We have to appropriate 20% matching part, which comes out to $100,000. But this, according to Ms. Dove, once we create this action plan, we can go after more grants that we can say we're trying to meet our safety action plan. So this will give us opportunity to get more money through grant funding. So I just wanted to give that little summary on that. Any comments from the audience? Administration, table, machines are open. Passes 8-0. Next item, please.
J, an ordinance to amend the five-year capital improvements plan, land use and zoning study project, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Schultz.
I offer, ask for a second. Second. Second by Mr. Newsom. Any comments from the audience? Administration, table, machines are open. Passes 8-0. Next item, please.
K, an ordinance to extend temporary easement, servitude, and right-of-way easement for coastwide reference monitoring system protect, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Schultz.
I offer, ask for a second. Second by Miss McCarty. Any comments from the audience? Administration? Table? Machines are open. You want verbal? Verbal, yes. Passes 8-0. Next item, please.
L, a resolution approving the requested variance filed by Richard and Rhonda Childry to vary the required minimum front yard carport setback of 50 feet to 12.9 feet in an R2 zoning district on a portion of ground designated as Lot 52A, Square B, Airport Subdivision, Missouri Pacific Avenue, Belchase, Louisiana, Plaquemines Parish, Section 15, Township 14 South, Range 24 East, all in accordance with application number 2024-555, dated April 22nd, 2024, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Gooey.
Offered by Mr. Gooey, second by Mr. Edwards. Mr. Edwards. Any comments from the audience? Administration? Table? Machines are open. Passes 8-0. Next item, please.
M, an ordinance to authorize an act of sale by the parish of Plaquemines to sell certain adjudicated properties by public auction and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember LaFrance.
Where Ms. LaFrance would like to defer.
10, approval of the minutes from the June 13th, 2024 regular meeting.
So offer.
Who was that? Ms. Edwards? Was that you? Offered by Ms. Edwards. Second by Mr. Newsom. Any comments from our audience? Administration?
We're deferring him.
Hold on, let's finish voting on, we're voting on the minutes. Administration, machines are open. Hold on. Yep. We're voting on the minutes right now. We can come back. Ms. LaFrance and Mr. Gui? Passes 8-0. Okay. Rennie and Mr. LaFrance, yeah, well, no, but then we deferred M also.
What did you ask for?
Did,
Randy, what was you asking for?
What's that?
which one were you asking if we deferred?
I'm asking about M.
M, yeah.
It was deferred.
Do we have a reason, or?
Stand by.
This was pursuant to our adjudicated property program. Number 1 was the highest bidder. Number 2 and number 3 are lot next door programs, who basically it's the neighbors trying to acquire the property who show that they maintain the yards for a year. So these two are pursuant to our adjudicated property program that we recently adopted.
All right.
I would ask that we move forward.
Hold on one second. He's.
We know exactly where this property is located, because it says Beers.
I mean, I can pull the parcel numbers up. I mean, I don't have it on me, but.
Beers is not my district.
Well, they probably put it, I mean, we're not doing individual ones for every district. We're not doing individual ones for every district. I think just one of these was in your district, or they maybe, wait, let me see.
Hold on, we need
I
at
think
least
one of these-
offer for,
Huh?
we need at least offer for discussion for now, where we can.
So offered.
Offer for discussion. Second by Mr. Joseph. All right, let's continue, at least where we're on the
So
record.
the council's already declared all these properties surplus. So if you remember right, I
He's
handed,
good with it. He's ready to.
if y'all remember right, I handed you all out, you all and the president selected properties y'all wanted to offer a surplus. These properties have already been declared surplus, mean the parish doesn't need them. And we had a bidder on one who's going to pay the back taxes and now put this property back into commerce. The other two, parcel number 2 and, I'm sorry, number 2 and number 3 are lot next door folks. So they're going to pay the taxes. We can get these properties back in commerce. And that's what this is.
So,
Are we reverting back to?
hold on, well, we're for discussion right now into, oh, he offered normal offer? Well, you good, or?
Does this have to be done now?
Well, the guy who bid, I mean, yeah, these people are trying to get their property because they followed the rules and the procedures, and they want to close on the property. I mean, you know,
It puts these properties back in commerce.
yeah, they're paying the taxes and.
Back in commerce, 2 weeks, is 2 weeks gonna hurt?
All right.
Because listen, I'm having problem with one of the properties in Port Sulphur.
Deferred.
We have a problem.
Okay.
You want to defer?
Because one of the problems that we deem.
Deferred.
We can talk about.
Okay.
Okay, so, all right, we'll go, continue to defer that item. All right, so back to 11A1.
A resolution to declare Friday, July 5th, 2024 as an approved holiday for Plaquemines Parish government employees and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Schultz.
I offer for suspension. Second by Mr. Jurcic. Any comments for this is for the suspension? Any comments from the audience? Administration, table, machines are open for the suspension. Passes 8-0 for suspension.
A resolution to declare Friday, July 5th, 2024 as an approved holiday for the Plaquemines Parish government employees and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Schultz.
Mr. Jurcic would like to offer. I'll second. Any comments from the audience? What? Administration, table, machines are open. Ms. McCarty, there we go. Passes 8-0. Next item, please.
B, District 7 update, Councilmember LaFrance. Suzie Bayou dredging project, update on NOV levee construction, Myrtle Grove Phase 2 road, projects on District 7 roads throughout subdivisions.
I spoke to the directors before the meeting, real good. Ma'am?
I thought that was on the port side.
Oh, they put it on the poll.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, I'm still waiting for the parish president to give me a date, or he's gonna give us a letter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yes.
Basically said everything that we can say right
Yeah.
here, so you're gonna get that.
All right, good.
You good, Ms. LaFrance?
Yes, sir.
All right, next item, please.
C, District 6 and 8 update, town hall meeting being held on July 9th, 2024, located at the Belle Chase Middle School, starting at 6 o'clock p.m.
Mr. Jurisic?
Yes, wanted to put that on to let everyone know that we will be, me and Mr. Newsom will be holding our dual district update since we are side by side, we represent the same people. So that will be held July 9th at the Belle Chase Middle School at 6 p.m. You know, if you have any questions, concerns, please come on out and let's get them aired. Thank you.
Grill oysters and stuff would be.
Next item, please.
D, District 3 update, town hall meeting being held on July 10th, 2024, located at the Belle Chase Library, starting at 6:30 p.m.
And that's under me. That's again district town hall meeting July 10th at 6:30 p.m. Belle Chase Library. Again, just give everybody an update. And while I'm on this subject, Ms. McCarty asked me she's going to be scheduling a town hall also sometime in July and try to get Entergy and AT&T at hers since that's some of the problems in her district. So she'll put out that news soon. Before we adjourn, though, we need to add an item to the agenda that was supposed to be on district update. Mardi Gras Pass.
Yeah, it was.
Wait, hold on. We got vote to add to the agenda. So we're going to add Mardi Gras Pass discussion. Machines are open to add to the agenda. Oh, wait, Mr. Edwards offered a second.
Instead of being on the poll agenda.
Well, it wasn't on the port either. I thought it was on the port. That's my. So we're adding to the agenda right now. Ms. LaFrance, Mr. Jurisic. All right. Passes 8-0. All right, so discussion on Mardi Gras Pass, Mr.
Yes, I had several residents ask me about it, having a discussion. I think I talked to Mitch about it, something that's been around a long time, and sort of put it back out there. Several people, but I do have one of the fishermen here who's familiar with Mardi Gras Pass. You want to come up and share your concern, and then I think it's further down.
Samuel Shano, Braithwaite, Louisiana. My thing about it is putting us out of business. Commercial fishermen.
Can you talk in the mic?
It's putting us out of business. Well, it already put us out of business. There's no oysters because they don't grow in fresh water. The pass is getting deeper. It's killing all the marshland. Y'all gonna try to close it? I mean, it's going on, what, 9 years, 10 years now? The pass is getting wider, it's getting deeper.
I'm going, Mr. Jurisic, if you want to respond?
Well, just one quick one right here. We've just turned in an application. I brought this to Mr. Edwards' attention here earlier this week, is that we had an application that we turned into Wildlife and Fisheries and also at NOAA. It's an application for $2 million, and we're going to be receiving those funds. And what it is, it's for the EIS and the engineering on closing Mardi Gras Pass to a controlled system. Get it back to where it was years ago, to where you can control the salinity of the waters and all. So that's we are working towards that, and that's where we are.
Well, the state, I went to a meeting in St. Bernard Parish last year, and the wildlife stated that $53 million that they got for St. Bernard Parish and Plaquemines Parish, that they put $4 million on the side to go to fund that with Plaquemines Parish to get something started on it. That's 2 years when I went to that meeting, and we still, nothing's.
Okay, well, I know a lot of different scenarios, and a lot of situations happened in the past prior to 18 months ago, but I can tell you this is where we are today with this project, and we're moving forward.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Any other anybody, go ahead, Ms. Edwards. You're on.
Thank you, President Hinckley, for qualifying that, because there's many concern, and I told Mitch when people brought it to me, I'm not a fisherman, I don't understand the impact of it, but I know it's related to water and how it impacts us. I was at a meeting that Dr. Bill and Fishman brought up pros and cons on it, so that's why I wanted to have this discussion, and I really appreciate the last part that you said in terms of money, because I had some people saying it need to be closed, some people said it need to be open, and one of the things at Doc's side, with the Corps saying that it need to be some kind of control mechanism, so I'm glad to hear that we're moving towards that.
All right. Any other comments? Nope. All right, motion. Anybody wants to make a motion? Nobody wants to leave?
I'll make it.
You're not allowed to. Motion by Ms. Edwards. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Jursich. Motion to adjourn. Machines are open. And it passes. Passes 7-1 with the no vote coming from Mr. Edwards, which made the motion. We'll have adjournment at 3:43 p.m.